Can anybody tell me yesterday what was the last thing we did before we walked out here?
A quiz.
A quiz. And Stephen, by chance, do you remember what that quiz was about?
What we know.
What we know. What we know about what?
Plants.
Plants.
Sir, what was science class?
About plants. Anything in particular about plants? We've talked about a lot of stuff about plants. Cameron. Photosynthesis. Reactants and products. Okay. Well, y'all are getting some of the information down. I'm going to share with you in just a minute the results of that quiz. And I told you, the whole reason I gave it to you was not for a grade or anything like that, but was to give us some direction for today. What do I need to go over? Because we talked about photosynthesis and we talked about respiration. When did we talk about that?
A long time ago.
Well, I know that, but I mean, what were we studying at the time that we talked about it? Plant cells, animal cells, so cellular stuff, right? We were looking at cell parts and looking at the organelles of the cell. We're going to be talking about all that today. Come on, dude. Alright, so your title for today is going to be photosynthesis and respiration. And we are, in fact, Whitney brought it up a minute ago, we are, in fact, going to be focusing on products and reactants because I'm going to show you those questions and how you did yesterday, and you're hopefully going to see the need for why we're going to be studying that today. Alright, this was that pretest I gave you yesterday, and these are the results. If you see a column in red, that means that's the number of students that got it right. 29 of you took the test. So look at number one. We had some people get it right. The green is partial. What's that mean?
Half.
Well, half. I mean, I could give you some credit. You at least had some sense of what you were talking about. All right, so number one again, there was some sense of it. Look at number two. Now, everybody had number two down pat. I was proud about that question. But we're missing something big on 3 and 4. What do you see? There's no red columns, right? So that's a problem. That's definitely a problem. 5 and 6. I think was more my fault, and we'll talk about why that was, and it's kind of related to your daily, not related to your question, but we'll talk about that. Number 7, again, I can give you some credit. We're going to look at that a little bit more today. Number 1 asks you, what do plant cells have that animal cells don't? And that's actually kind of what I put for your daily question today. Why do you think most people got partial credit on that? What did you say, Ron?
They didn't put all the things.
They didn't put all the things. They put one thing down maybe, but there's actually a couple. So what are those couple of things, Rocky?
Cell wall, chloroplast, film.
All right. Cell wall and chloroplast I would have taken. Cell wall and chlorophyll I would have taken. But chlorophyll, remember, is a pigment. We'll talk more about that today. And I'm really looking for chloroplast. So we're looking for 2 things there. And we're actually, a lot of you just put 1 down. That's okay. Like I said, it gave you some credit there. Number 2, this is the one that you all did great on. And this is good because this is one of your state indicators. This is one of the things you're supposed to be able to do. What is the food-making process in plants? Y'all know that. Photosynthesis. And like 24 of you, it looks like, got it right. So I felt good about that. We're going to stay with the good news first. We're going to number 5 here. And number 5 asks you, where does photosynthesis take place? And I think that was more my fault because as we've been talking about plants, where have we said photosynthesis takes place at? In the leaves. But there's a reason it takes place in the leaves, and we're going to look at that today. So I might have confused you a little bit because what I was really asking for was the cell part. Where does it take place in the cell? So we'll get to that. Number 6, you did a little bit better on where does respiration take place. We'll talk about that again today. Number 7, we still had some correct answers, although not as many. It says, why do plants need to use both photosynthesis and respiration? Hopefully after today, you'll be a little more clear on that. But then we get to number 3 and 4. Okay? What are the products and reactants of respiration, and what are the products and reactants of photosynthesis? And as you can see, That's not an easy thing to probably just remember. So that's okay. So today we're going to work at that and maybe work at some ways that we can remember it.